Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm Rolene Marks, and I bring you the top stories from Israel every Monday to Thursday on this channel or on our YouTube channel. You can find us at the Israel Brief, and you play a major part in helping us get Israel stories out to the mainstream. So if you click on the subscribe button, you'll be notified every time we post a new brief, and you really help get Israel's side of the story out to the masses. But let's take a look at those top stories making headlines, and we begin, as we do every day, with the COVID-19 global pandemic. Israel has seen another escalation in the amount of infections, and the health minister, Yuli Edelstein, is determined, or rather adamant, that we are headed to a possible second lockdown. However, there is quite a bit of disagreement within the government amongst the ministers about restrictions and should we lock down and what will be the process moving ahead. Today, unfortunately, we have the highest number of people in serious condition to date, and this is putting a lot of strain on our healthcare system. And while this is going on, there has been a significant rise in public, or the lack of public trust in Prime Minister Netanyahu and the way that the government is handling the second wave. There was a lot of protests outside his residence last night. In fact, 50 people were arrested, and according to a recent poll, people's trust in the way that the Prime Minister has handled this crisis is dipping significantly. However, whose popularity is rising amongst the crisis? Naftali Bennett. He served as the Defence Minister during the first wave and was lauded for the excellent way that he handled the crisis. And many are saying, well, perhaps is it time to bring back Naftali Bennett in some kind of iteration to help fight coronavirus. So let's take a look at those stats as they stand today. Since the start of the pandemic, 42,813 people have contracted the virus, with 375 fatalities. At the moment, 22,704 people are infected, 195 of them in serious condition, and 19,734 people have made full recovery. Now, with coronavirus spreading around the world and many countries entering into a second wave of infections, issues like the annexation here in Israel aren't high on the list of priorities. And that is the case in Washington. In order for Israel to have moved ahead with any plans to apply sovereignty to lands in the West Bank or to major settlement blocks, it would have needed the buy-in of the Trump administration. However, in a conversation, Knesset Speaker Yariv Levin said Washington right now does not have any annexation plans that Israel might have on its agenda, and these will probably have to go on the back burner at least for a while. And the final story today is one that is making headlines, or at least getting coverage in major newspapers around the world, and that is the shock resignation from the New York Times of columnist Bari Weiss. Bari Weiss is a centrist columnist. She's a highly respected opinion maker, and we've spoken quite a lot on this channel about the New York Times and their descent into a lot of either far left-leaning or at times anti-Semitic kind of rhetoric. Well, Bari tendered her resignation in yesterday, and this has reverberated throughout the journalist world. You know, one of the things that we hold dear as journalists is the free exchange of ideas and the ability to bring ideas to the fore and let you, the public, make your own informed decisions. However, in her very impassioned resignation letter, Weiss touched on bullying she was experiencing within the New York Times, being called a Nazi or a racist, and even having members of staff saying, oh, well, there she goes writing about Jews again. She has made no secret about the fact that she's very proud of her Jewish identity and warned of the dangers of wrongthink. And that, that is, if you don't go with the current popular liberal sentiments of the time, you are effectively either bullied or cancelled. And we've seen this growing cancel culture affect people like best-selling author J.K. Rowling and many others who, unless they go with the tide of what seems to be woke or liberal popular opinion, they are effectively cancelled. And I looked at yesterday's resignation with a lot of worry and dismay. In the past couple of weeks, the New York Times has featured articles from somebody like Peter Baynott, who is very agenda-driven, speaking about how he doesn't believe in the existence of a Jewish state, and some other alarming rhetoric, including Senator Tom Cotton, writing that, it's time to call in the National Guard. And in the past, the coverage given to people like Ahmadinejad, the former leader of Iran, who has called for Israel to be wiped off the map. So very, very worrying scenario at the New York Times. And even though we know that a journalist with the exemplary reputation of Bari Weiss, whether you agree with her or not, will be okay, it's very, very worrying for how we proceed as journalists and media consumers. But one thing we do promise you, that right here on Lay of the Land, we will give voices to as many interesting perspectives as possible, and you can check us out at www.layoftheland.online. You can read my article about the incredible journey of an Eritrean woman who came to Israel as part of an arranged marriage and to find work. She was abused by her husband but found shelter and safety in a Witso women's shelter, but also life-saving surgery. Read it there. Also, check out our Facebook page. Give us a like or a follow. Invite your friends to as well. We love the more the merrier at our party. Don't forget about our YouTube channel, and we're on Twitter at LayOfTheLand5. So interact with us there as well. So with today's edition of the Israel Brief, I'm Rolene Marks, wishing you all good health and safety, and we'll chat again tomorrow.